A Giants podcast for Giants fans
By Giants fans.
from the offseason through the wins and the losses. It's time to take one Giant step.
Welcome into One Giant Step. Where are we at? Week 6? A little Week 6 preview here. Thursday Night Football. I don't know what the hell day it is. I'm Shaun Morash. He's Bryce Gelman. Thursday night games, when you are in the talking football business, just throw everything for a loop. So I can only imagine how the players get thrown for a loop in the preparation. But it feels like Bryce and I were just staring at each other, basically recapping that loss to the Saints. But here we are back on the horse, getting ready to preview a game with the Philadelphia Eagles at MetLife Stadium, the second primetime game of 3 home games so far at MetLife Stadium. A little brief throw it out there. If you're heading to the game, you're getting there early. American Dream is an awesome spot to check out a pregame tailgate. There's a bunch of bars there. We were going to be broadcasting the Evan and Tiki show live from the Dream Bar, an Audacy production there, the Dream Bar, which overlooks the parking lot of MetLife. Looking over is a nice little, that walkway you go across. It's super easy. So if you want to
what a packed week for you,
dude!
Stadium
This
today
is crazy.
and yesterday, and now you're going to be at American Dream tomorrow.
Look, this is one of those weeks where I'm certainly not complaining because I this is what I dreamt to do. But you get reminded that even the dream jobs you could secure in life are still jobs, and they still get very hectic and very crazy. So couple shows at Yankee Stadium, getting killed on Twitter because I didn't stay for the Yankee game.
You should have clarified this. You should have cleared this up. I'm getting texts left and right. Oh, look at this. Look at Shaun. I'm like, he left because he had to do a podcast. That's all you had to say. Then you're mentioning things about you easily could have cleared that up.
Well, okay. So you know what? We'll clear it up here before we get into the Giants Eagles.
Screw it. Yeah.
Screw it. We're having fun since I'm getting killed for all of it. All right. Here's the deal. This is my week. Okay. Tuesday, Evan and Tiki show Yankee Stadium. Wednesday, Evan and Tiki show Yankee Stadium. Thursday, Evan and Tiki show American Dream at the Meadowlands. Mind you, I live on Long Island. Friday, my daughter's 4th birthday that I need to race home after a long week. And they could potentially have a long show, which throws everything for a loop. I have to leave early, whatever, the whole thing, because of the Yankee. And we're doing extended hours when the Yankee games are at 8. So it's whatever, boo-hoo, right? I had a decision to make. Which Yankee game was I going to go to this week? Because to be honest with you, staying for both in these late nights while knowing what I had on Thursday and the show, I get tired, dude. Like it's too much. And if that sounds privileged to some of the audience, I understand it does. And believe me, 20-year-old me would kill to be at all of these games. And I'm very fortunate to have a media pass and get in. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the reason I left, I had to take tape Talking Giants on Tuesday night because of this Giants short week. Usually we tape Talking Giants and we do One Giant Step on a Thursday, something like that. You can't do it this week. And I could either stay at the Yankee game, get home God knows when, then do that, then wake up at 2, then go back to the Yankee game. Like, it would just been too much. So I did that. And on top of it, when making the decision, yes, I'm a New York Rangers fan. It was their opening night. They got shut out. I have a nice little den with multiple TVs. I said, you know what? It just makes sense for me to go home today and watch both. But people have interpreted that as I left at 6-1. No, I left 40 minutes before a first pitch was even thrown. And I did feel good about that decision when they were down 6-1 because there's nothing worse than being at an elimination game because I stayed for Game 5 of the World Series and watched them bumble that. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, but then you post the video saying the judge home run for my seats. You weren't at the game.
Well, that was the joke, Bryce.
No one got that. That's the thing. I looked through it. I'm like, where's the joke here? Is he at the game or is he not? I knew you weren't, but
the joke was if you just scrolled 1 second earlier, I was getting killed for leaving the game.
But then people were still confused on that tweet.
Well, they're idiots. If you look at me on the couch, how did I get back in Yankee Stadium 10 minutes later for a home run?
That's what people were asking.
No, it was my buddy's video he sent me. So I was
I couldn't even see it.
Yeah, I was messing with you.
Yeah.
That was all. I was going to see who was the idiot that thought I really got back in the stadium. That was the point of the tweet.
Everyone, apparently.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Perfect. Okay. So that's where we're at. Giants, Eagles. Now, there's this another stupid cloud hanging over the head of the Giant Eagle game that really only pertains to fans. And I'll let Bryce, that's a terrible way to say it. Bryce can respond to this, but I'm just going to put it out there. We are now into year 2 of the Giants without Saquon Barkley. Year 1 obviously goes and wins the Super Bowl. The Giants have egg in their face. I will go down swinging with, I still think ultimately the Giants made the right call not putting a bunch of finances into an aging running back.
I thought that was accepted.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. I'm going to make that point.
Should be.
Now Saquon Barkley has a documentary coming out on Amazon that is dropping just before this kickoff on Thursday, which you can, as a Giant fan, you could choose to watch it. As a Giant fan, you could choose not to watch it. It doesn't really matter. I'm just here to
we're not going to do a reaction podcast to that?
I'm not.
What?
And I'll tell you why. I generally love like NFL Films productions. I think they do a great job, and I'll watch a good NFL Films on anything. I'm sure that if you lived outside of New York, maybe you have interest in like, oh, this Saquon journey, that was an interesting story. So I'm not even faulting the NFL for doing it. But Saquon keeping, and this is what I found out, a running diary for 5 years, which is how this is set up about his career, like this long-winded thing. It just, dude, I have no interest in that.
Dude, I
have no interest in revisionist history. And I know there's some of the nuggets that have come out. Oh, stunner, by the way. A general manager said the owner wouldn't allow the star player to seek a trade. Like,
yeah.
You know, I'm not even going to get into whatever that means and everything. Guys, Saquon Barkley, 3 1,000-yard seasons in 6 years. Injury plague. Giants' offensive line stunk. They are not the Eagles' offensive line. The Eagles would have won a Super Bowl with Derrick Henry running behind that offensive line last year, too. Saquon went to a better place. The idea that, oh, my God, look how stupid the Giants look. Saquon Barkley was not having that year last year with the Giants. Now, he just wouldn't. Now we have a fan favorite in Cam Scadaboo. Like, get over it. I'm so over the Saquon Barkley stuff, and like, God bless him. He won a Super Bowl. He is an Eagle now. The Giants should have never drafted him to begin with, and I think we are at the point. If you think the Giants made a mistake letting him go, I'm not going to change your mind. Bryce is not going to change your mind. If you're like Bryce and I, where, dude, whatever happened, happened. It was still the right move for this franchise to not allocate those resources to a running back. Nobody's going to change our mind at this point either. And I don't think an Amazon documentary re-going over everything, like we already had the Hard Knock stuff in his journey. I just have zero interest on that ahead of a Giant Eagle game. And I don't know, man, like I'm not going to say never because these things live on streaming services forever. Could there be a February day in 2028 where I sit down?
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, what did this end up looking like? Sure. But in the moment, I could care less.
I could guarantee you that I could count on one hand how many Giants fans are going to be watching this. Like, unless you like hate watching, unless you hate.
I think so. I think more will watch than you think.
You got to watch it. You got to hear what he says about the organization. We'll see the clips. We'll see what he has to say about the Giants. Of course, that's going to circulate all over. Schefter will post it. Rappaport. Everyone and their mothers are going to be posting the clips because they love to, they love to talk, what about the Giants. But I will not be watching it. You will not be watching it. No Giants fan that I know will be watching it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
I get the sense talking to a couple of the reporters I know, they were like really into it. And I think they really want this to be a story. And maybe it will. Like, I can't speak.
Of course they do. That's why they keep posting this kind of stuff.
And I get it. And I can't speak for every Giant fan, Bryce, as much as I want to, and as much as I am on the face of multiple Giants podcasts and an afternoon show. It talks a lot of Giants on WFAN. I can't speak for every Giant. Say not every Giant. There's a lot of Giant fans still angry at the organization about it. So I'm sure they will watch it and feel. I just don't understand why you'd investigate your time. There's too much else going on with the Giants. It's the Jaxson Dart era now. Yeah. Whether this has nothing to do with Dable or Shane, but just more or less like we're watching a franchise now that has turned the keys over to a new quarterback. And this is, I know this is going to kill up year one of that era starting. That's what I care about with the Giants football. Okay. Now, as far as this game goes, interesting nuggets about this game. First and foremost, Saquon Barkley did pop up on the injury report on Monday. Remember, it's a short week with everything with a knee injury. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, and A.J. Brown also had a three-way meeting with each other to discuss problems within the offense. And this is an Eagle team that has not been able to score enough points. You watch them blow a game like that. They were very fortunate with the Rams. I mean, they feel a lot like the Chiefs. I think Nick Costo said this of last year, where they are begging to be beat. And then you look up and they have this great record. And it's not to say the Giants by any means have the talent to do so. But at least as it stands right now, this is not the Eagle team playing record-wise there. We're playing the way we saw last year. A lot of vulnerabilities up and down this Eagle roster right now, Bryce.
Yeah. I mean, you hear all this, the murmuring of the anger and the frustration amongst the Eagles skill players, and for good reason. You look at how limited that offense is downfield, vertically, where A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith thrive. I mean, how many times is Jalen Hurts going to dump off the ball for 5-6 yards? And I think that this is all coming to a head, and we'll get to the game pick. We'll talk about what's going to happen in this game, but I feel like a lot of these concerns could be eased in this game against the Giants secondary, which is extremely suspect this year, Shaun.
Yeah, and now let's get to that Giant defense before we turn the page to the offense. There was something there with Spencer Rattler and Kellen Moore and Doug Nussmeier figured it out where, hey, you're going to get rid of the ball uber quick. We're not going to allow that pass rush to get home, and we're going to expose Shane Bowen not being able to disguise anything in the secondary, and they did so. And then they took advantage of Deonte Banks, who should not be on the field on third downs. I've come all the way on that. Newbin has no idea what a cover 4 defense is, and they took advantage. Now, do the Giants win that game if they don't put the ball on the ground? Yes. But this also needs to be a defense where you have all of these players up and down, and that's where it really falls on Shane Bowen. The team does have talented players. As much as their holes are holes, they're good stuff, the pass rushers and Dex and Okereke and Holland and even Adebo and Phillips. I don't think they're being put in positions to succeed. And this needs to be a defense with a rookie quarterback who lost its best playmaker for the year that picks up the offense. Now, ask him to pick him up on 5 turnovers is a little too much. But in general, you shouldn't allow the Saints to have multiple big plays like that. And you have a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, like you saw last year when A.J. Brown had that play on 4th down for the touchdown that killed them, long Saquon runs. Like this cannot be another scenario like that where big plays are just killing your team. And, the moment the offense gives up a bad moment, the defense can't immediately just say, well, that was on the offense, so here you go. Let's go up and down. That's on Shane Bowen.
Yeah, and also, here's the flip side of the argument. The offense needs to stay on the field long enough so the defense doesn't lose its legs. We've seen that in the past from the Giants, where the offense can't move the ball and the defense. We've seen a lot from Dexter Lawrence. Playing too many snaps, he gets strained, can't deal with all the double teams. He becomes a non-factor in a game. That can't happen against this Eagles team that's going to run the ball down the Giants' throats. So the offense has to stay on the field, Shaun. And I know we're talking defense here, but that obviously plays a part in what the defense is and what they bring on a weekly basis. But, dude, I mean, this secondary, they got to step up. Shane Bowen, we could say all we want about Shane Bowen. I don't think he's going to have a job at the end of the year. That's another story. But if this team could turn it around, if they want to turn the season around, and we're sitting here week 6.
Forget turning the season around. Just be able to put some competitive.
Just be able to play competently.
Right, that's it.
Competently. We're not expecting them to turn the season and make the playoffs, but play competently.
Give your offense and rookie quarterback a chance to win games late. That's all.
And that's what I'm saying. Saying. Limit what the offense can do. If they beat you down the field because the secondary sucks, so be it. Limit the run and get to the quarterback. You just have to live with all the defensive blunders in the secondary, Shaun. I feel like we're at that point. Like, what could change? Like, you're going to teach Tyler Newbin to defend the deep ball? Are you going to teach Phillips not to commit 10 penalties a game?
No, and Drew Phillips should take the good with the bad in that spot too.
Yes,
but I think what we're learning, and this is more for the end of the year, and I'm really trying to avoid this because we've done too much of this with the tanking the last couple of years. Really for the end of the year, talent-wise, whoever comes in at the end of the year, defensive coordinator, maybe an entire new coach, except the head coach goes, unlike past years with the Giants, we were just like, oh my God, like the cupboard is not bare on talent for this Giant team. Now they still have other holes, right? I'd like
it's
another
going to
corner.
be a very intriguing job.
Yeah. Like
very intriguing.
This will have at least the basis of a roster that you look at and go, man, some really good coaching comes in here. A second year of a rookie quarterback, if he's any good, and you're going to look up and go, this team could win some games versus a lighter schedule, by the way, next year, if you already kind of take a peek ahead and want to kind of project what teams are going to be. All right, offensively. I'm excited to watch this team offensively, and maybe that's a death wish. Darius Slayton, very limited here with the hamstring injury. Brian Dable did say that, the Giants, if Slayton can't go, should be looking for internal options. The internal option is Lil Jordan Humphrey. And by the way, if Slayton can go, I'd still look at internal options. They should have elevated Lil Jordan Humphrey last game. This is not a time to screw around. I would put him in that game. He's a guy who fights for balls. He's a contested catch guy. Look, there's a reason he's on the practice squad, not picked up anybody. You're not asking him to go out there and be Jerry Rice, but how about a little competency? I would trust elevating him. I would do that because even if Slayton's on the field, he has drop issues. And even if he's on the field, Jalen Hyatt and Bo Collins have shown you absolutely nothing. That being said, they go into that 12 personnel playing the double tight. I think you're going to see a lot more of that because right now Theo Johnson and Bellinger are your reliable guys. And I'm fine with that. But if you get behind multiple scores in a game like this and you're trying to air it out, you need some kind of answer down the field. That's where Lil Jordan Humphrey has to play. Tyrone Tracy also feels like he's trending towards coming back and playing, which wouldn't surprise me based on the fact that he wasn't put on IR. Is this Kafka Dable group creative enough with a converted wide receiver to running back that now has Cam Scadaboo going to create some hectic packages with Tyrone Tracy and Scadaboo on the field at the same time? Both of those guys can catch footballs, keep the defense guessing in the run game as well. I'm just looking for now, without Malik Neighbors, a couple of those things, Bryce, some creativity with the guys you do have.
They took the words right out of my mouth. I was saying the Giants need to get creative. You see Tyrone Tracy, limited participant yesterday and the day before. We'll see what he does today. I'd hope that he plays in this game. They're going to need him against the Eagles. It's a short turnaround this week. If he doesn't play, it's not the be-all, end-all. But either way, you'd obviously like to have him there because listen, I'm not opposed to running the dual tight end offense, considering that Bellinger is slightly competent at catching the ball. I said this last week, kind of made a joke to you. Who would have thunk it, that he actually can catch the ball? He had 4 receptions for 50-plus yards. I like to see that. It's not like they got it's not like Chris Manhertz is their backup pass-catching tight end. You know what I mean? Like they have a competent backup pass-catching tight end. Theo Johnson's going to need to come into his own. It's going to help a lot having an experienced veteran, a guy who won a playoff game, Daniel Bellinger, as well. But yeah, Tyrone Tracy, if the Giants want to provide Jaxson Dart without a trade, Shaun, if the Giants want to provide Jaxson Dart the best possible talent surrounding him, they got to figure out how to best utilize Tyrone Tracy. Like, that is a must.
Yeah, I think we forget that Tyrone Tracy was good at football because of the whole Cam Scatterbo thing.
I know.
They need Tyrone Tracy.
And he comes back, and it's not ideal because you thought that it would be a split backfield, be 50-50. I don't think it will be anymore. But Tyrone Tracy's going to have a completely new role, like every passing down. He's going to be obviously going to be the third down running back, but every passing down, Tyrone Tracy will probably be on the field.
I'm with you, and I think they need to figure that out. Cam Scatterbo to just keep pounding the rock. I will say, and it's a very little thing, but this is what we're here for, the little things that become big things. Jaxson Dart, I believe I mentioned this on the postgame podcast. Jaxson Dart sliding last week on a couple of those runs told me a lot bigger a picture about Jaxson Dart than just simply that he slides. It's that, all right, I see what I screwed up in my first start. I'm going to make a concentrated effort to not screw that up. And that little nuanced stuff is what having faith in a rookie quarterback is all about. What was, just identifying your problems on tape. All right, what did you do wrong in game 1? Okay, this is what I did. In game 2, what did Jaxson Dart do wrong? Well, he can't fumble the football like that. Those picks, whatever you learned from him, but whatever. He took accountability after the game. I do get the vibe from the first week to the second week that Jaxson Dart has an understanding of what went wrong when he looked at film, and he wants to identify it. I think he's going to be fired up. I almost think also, remember we had all the talk of when do you start Jaxson Dart, and we always pointed to this short week of, well, you wouldn't do it versus the Saints because then, or whatever, you had the short week to prepare. I almost wonder if Jaxson Dart, especially Cam Scatterbo too with him, are so freaking hungry and don't know any better. That's actually beneficial for them to jump right back on the field on a Thursday and go, all right, I need to shake this rust off. I kind of have faith, Bryce. By no means, we're going to get to the game pick in a little bit. I kind of have faith you're going to get a really good effort from Jaxson Dart in this game. Now, it's going to take players making plays for him, but I think mentally, at least, I think you're going to get a pretty smart Jaxson Dart in this game.
There's no game, bigger stakes that Jaxson Dart has played up until this point. The Eagles, divisional matchup, we hate the Eagles. Like, there has become this
I told him that too.
Hatred. What?
When I met Jaxson Dart at camp, the first I said, you got to hate the Eagles. We hate the Eagles. He said, I got you, brother.
And he's going to see it firsthand. I mean, it's going to be like 60-40 Giants fans to Eagles fans.
What helps, though, Bryce? What helps Thursday game, Phillies in the NLDS, like, there'll be Eagle fans, but on a Thursday, it's going to be less than it normally would be on that Sunday game.
And the Yankees would play on Friday if they did.
Yeah, no Yankees. Right? You are getting a Philly game during the night on Thursday.
And if you're watching this right now, you're watching this after the conclusion of the Yankees game. So go Yankees. Let's hope we get that game on Friday. But I think that these are the highest stakes that Jaxson Dart will face. And it's very important for us to see what he's made of. And we know he's got the drive. We know he's got the mentality. But if we want to get a real picture of who Jaxson Dart is going to be in divisional games, with the Giants have struggled so much in, this is where it all starts, man. You got the Eagles twice in 3 weeks. I understand short week. There are going to be excuses if he doesn't play well, but he's going to have a chance to redeem himself. But it starts here. This is extremely important. The Giants, Shaun, have sucked against divisional opponents. They've won like 2 or 3 games in the Brian Dable, Joe Schoen era. If Jaxson Dart could turn this around, man, I mean, it's going to get a lot more people a lot more excited about this team and him.
No doubt about it. Well, I mean, look, I don't want to give away our pick, but I think you're leaning towards our pick. If Jaxson Dart happened to beat the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday night, it's not like a season changer in terms of the playoffs, but it is in many ways a franchise changer because it doesn't matter about Dable and Shea. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the idea of the first time your quarterback that we're putting a lot of that we're excited about plays the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that we have long been losing to and could possibly beat them on prime time and have the world buzzing. I do think that I think it's a bit franchise changing in terms of the way you view the quarterback. Like, Dan, you stepped in the Lions den versus the defending champs, and we were 1-4, and you put the team on your back, you figured out a way. Now, do we expect that? No, and I think it's a lot to ask of them, but the 1.5% chance that happens, I mean, that is on the table on Thursday night. So that's why I'm excited to watch Jaxson Dart. Because you know what? Nobody's going to kill Jaxson Dart if they lose the game. You're supposed to lose the game with no wide receivers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. But if you ever won the game or, just went toe-to-toe, it's on.
And if they win this game, I'm so excited to see the reaction from the Eagles fan. That's going to be great. You're going to listen to the WIP that next day. Your old friend Spike Eskin.
Right. Yeah,
he's going to be trolling Giants fans on Twitter. He's going to be getting in the mentions of and potentially DMs of Giants fans throughout Twitter. Let's give him an L. Let's give him an L.
Are you ready to do some fantasy versus reality?
Let's do it.
All right. Bum, bum, bum. My fantasy play is very simple in this game. It's Cam Scatterboo. Because he fumbled last week, I think there is like this. He's just a dude. You know that old the Lugauer dude dogs damage thing? Like, Cam Scatterboo, I am convinced, is a dude. And I think that mistake has just seethed in him that he fumbled. You saw some of the blocks on tape. And let's just be real. Saquon Barkley is on the field on the other end. Okay? You are a running back that's emerging here. And this is a team with no wide receivers that just need to bring attitude versus the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Jalen Carter, like all of these guys on the Eagles. The Giants need a big FU guy. And Cam Scatterboo's that. I want to see him lay a couple Eagles out. I want to see him rip off a couple big runs. I want Cam Scatterboo to be that dude, and I think he will, and I think there's a good chance he ends up in the end zone in this game, and I think there's a good chance, again, we just see this building with Scatterboo where even if Tyrone Tracy's on the field too, it's going to alleviate some of that stuff for him, and he has more room to operate. My sense is we get a big Cam Scatterboo game at the very least.
The reality of the game?
Oh, that's right, the reality. Dude, I am on no sleep.
Running on fumes.
The reality on how the Giants can win this game. Infighting with the Eagles. I mean, sack Jalen Hurts a couple times because, he's been taking a little longer to throw the football here. A couple hurried overthrows to A.J. Brown, little infighting, and sell out to stop Saquon Barkley, who's banged up anyway. I don't think if the Eagles are anywhere close to just playing the game, the Giants are not going to go toe-for-toe. I actually think the reality of the game is the best shot for the Giants to win this game, first of all, other than the obvious mistake-free football, right? You can't turn the ball over, is hurry that Eagles offense into a couple of their own mistakes and a couple of lost drives because you can sense, I mean, they're having a meeting between Brown and something is bubbling to the surface there. Somebody's going to need to take the pin and pop it. And the moment it pops, it'll be everywhere all over the internet. Look at the sideline fight. Look at all of that. This sounds like I'm grasping at straws, and I am in many ways, but that's coming with the Eagles. Like, you could feel it coming.
Yep.
Be the team that causes it. And if they're infighting on the sideline and you've caused a couple chaos plays on their offense early in the game, that could mentally sink the Eagles, and that's how the Giants could pull out a stunning win if they were to win a game.
All right, well, for my fantasy pick, I don't want to have to do this the first time all year that we're doing this, but I got to double up. I got to go Cam Scatterboo as well.
That's fine.
The Eagles defense is a lot better. And this is simple minutia, but the Eagles defense is a lot better against the pass than it is against the run. And the Giants, especially in a game against the Eagles, in which it's the Eagles, no matter what, it feels like the Eagles are playing it's rookie level on Madden. We're playing all pro or all Madden. And for whatever reason, it feels like the defense dominates the Giants. It gets the quarterback. I foresee an offensive scheme that is as simple as ever for Jaxson Dart, which means not a lot of deep balls, a lot of stuff between the sticks. I think that Cam Scatterboo has a really good game, and he's the one guy on this Giants team, and I'll get to this, but he's the one guy on the Giants team that really does anything offensively. I think he'll rush for 100 yards. He'll get 25 rushes. We'll see what happens with Tyrone Tracy. Maybe that number goes down. Maybe the Giants fall behind early and they got to throw the ball. So, Tyrone Tracy be in the game more. Let's say hypothetically the Giants keep this game close the majority of the game, Cam Scatterby will eat, take his overs and on whatever. But the reality of this game, the Giants need to score early. They need to. I'm trying to think of the right word here, but they need to make the Eagles uncomfortable early on in the game. They need to step onto the Eagles sideline, throw a grenade, and then run. Like they have to create this issue early in the game. And I agree that this infighting is going to come to a head at some point. But as long as they can get on the board early in this game, it will start to create that fission between the Eagles, where they're going to start to get like this level of, all right, we need to do this. We need to throw the ball down the field. Right. And they're going to deviate from what works for them. Clearly, there's a reason why this Eagles offense is so elementary. There's a reason why Jalen Hurts doesn't throw the ball down the field. It's because they're not good at that. And everyone's so Kellen Moore left. It's not because of that. Yes, he's a top 5 offensive mind in the NFL. That's tough to replace. But you are limited with your quarterback. You get on the board early. You start to create this level of anxiety amongst them. That's the reality of how you win the game. You got to get on the board early.
I like it. Now, will they win the game? Here's our game pick.
Yeah.
I think that you're going to get an early touchdown from the Giants. I think you're going to have some first half momentum. I think the crowd's going to go in a frenzy and they're going to start to believe. And then I think the wheels fall off late in the third quarter and we're starting to scream and yell about Shane Bowen again. And ultimately a big play is made in that early fourth quarter and the Giants kind of just don't have the firepower to answer back. I think the Giants are losing this game 27-16 after giving us 2.5 quarters where they tease us.
You got the game pick? Minus 7 Eagles.
27-16 Eagles, so they cover.
So you got okay. So I believe I think we're both 1-4 here. This has been a disaster.
Which is so funny because I'm actually having a really good year on my own betting games in my account.
Everyone I know has too. All right, I got 25-10. I think the Giants, they do score early. They score early. They probably score in the first quarter, and then they do exactly what they did last week.
What are we taking a safety in this game, Bryce?
What I don't know.
I like it. Stick with it. It's different.
I wanted to get cute here. Like I don't know. Like maybe the Eagles they got to go for 2. Offsides on. They got to go for 2, and then
I like it. It's different.
Why not? Why not? I was gonna say 24, and I'm like, why not 25? But the Giants get on the board early, but they do exactly what they did last week, which is they peak early. They don't get into the end zone later on in the game. I understand that it was because of 5 freaking turnovers in a row, and they would have gotten to the end zone on one of those. The Eagles offense, Shaun, scores when they're in the red zone 92% of the time. 92%. It's number 1 in the NFL. 92% of the time. The Giants need to do something. It's not going to happen. That's the issue. The Giants' red zone defense is not great. Their red zone offense is worse. But the Giants are going to need to stop the Eagles in the red zone and their stupid tush push. We're going to see it a million times. And I just think that, no pun intended, the Eagles are going to overpower and overpush the Giants in this game. They're going to bully them. And it's not like this Eagles offensive line is too good to overcome. They've allowed 15 sacks. The Giants have allowed 14. That's 9th in the NFL in sacks allowed for the Eagles. Like, this is not an otherworldly offensive line right now. So the Giants have to get to the quarterback, and I think they will, and that's why, the Eagles will only score 25 points. They could score more against the Giants team that's offense can't stay in the field. But, yeah, so we both have Eagles minus 7 in this game, I guess.
All right. A lot of fun Thursday we're really setting ourselves up for here, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the good news is if you download and subscribe to One Giant Step, you'll get our reaction video to this game. And then we could all have a much needed, I think, for this Giant team, Bryce, I think we can all agree, a much needed mental health break this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. Won't that be nice? And then we'll gear back up and we'll talk ourselves into a Bronco win next week. At Bryce Gelman on Twitter.
You need some rest.
I'm dying. By the way, you know what's happening, right? Saturday, I'm going to have no voice because I'm doing 50 million podcasts this week. I'm doing 50 million event show-ups this week. Again, show-ups? I got a Chuck E. Cheese kid's birthday Saturday, too, by the way, for my kid.
I got up for that?
No, I just, I got to go to the Rat and, hand out some pizza, and my kid will play skee ball, and I
need the rest.
I need to go to bed. But I'm ending this podcast right now. I'm going to Yankee Stadium for Game 4. So at Bryce Gelman on Twitter and X, at Shaun Morash on Twitter and X. I'll see you guys later.